Good early morning, good peoples. Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation back at you with Granite. What a busy evening, early morning here with doing all of these funds. All of them are hitting on Friday now with announcements, declarations. Anyway, it's good. It's all good that we have all this data. So I'm pulled together some things for you. So looking at Granite, they have 5 funds. People were just asking me in comments about Xbty. So again, one of those BTC oriented funds as opposed to just MSTR. So let's look at their Tesla equivalent again. No matter who you look at with Tesla, it doesn't, there are some winners and some losers within income funds at Tesla, but the underlying has been pretty ugly. So even TSYY has a minus 12.66. But now look, this is the classic where you have variances, right? Look at all the different dates. I've got 2/5/13s. I've got 1/2/26, 1/4/3. So I got a February and April, 2 Mays, and then back to December. So I've got 3 different index funds or sorry, 2 different index funds, the Qs and the S&P 500, and then I have a BTC and I have an Nvidia and a Tesla. So hopefully we'll see more roll out from them. What do they have on their list? Well, they got one called Nuggy I'd like to see out, precious metal miners. China, Apple, I'd like to see an AMD one, even an Amazon, oh yeah, coin one, Meta, and Microsoft. So it doesn't appear that they have MSTR on their list, but they do have a BTC oriented fund. All right, let's jump in and then I'll take you to some comparisons. I'm not going to compare the Qs in the S&P 500, but and also not going to compare the BTC. I'm going to do that this weekend, and I'll include these, and I'll make sure I compare all of the Q income funds, all of the BTC income funds, and all of the S&P 500. But I will show Tesla and Nvidia to see how, they're stacking up. So as we go across again, this one's, 17 months old now. It's still got a negative return. Got a distribution annualized at 68.12, only to be outdone by a minus 80. So not really good. And most of that's on Tesla. We'll look when I compare it to everybody else and see. So let's take a look at Nvidia here. Now, this is one of the newer ones along with the BTC. And they started out, well, these guys started out weekly, and then on June everything went to weekly. So these guys probably didn't even have a monthly payer. This clearly was monthly payers for a while, then converted as of June 1. Any payments after that would be weekly. Same with the S&P 500. Doesn't change anything, but just a note if some of you remember them. So you see a lot of stuff, where I'm starting to track it weekly. But before June 6th, it was monthly. All right. So on your day's own 218, the distro returned 40, annualized 68, but it lost, right? Look at their Nvidia total return 130%. But that's also looking at 513. I'm going to take you over and look at some Nvidias all at 528. So I can look at Nvidia, I can look at NVYY, and then I can look at NVDW. Um, and I'm using 528 because I thought there was oh yeah, there's another one, NVII, that didn't launch until 528. So we'll go look at those, but an excellent job. You can't say anything negative, but Nvidia did a V-shaped, right? It crashed down in April, and then Nvidia, the underlying, has soared off to a new high. It's looking terrific. All right, so the XBTC fund, 81.47 on total return. Look at that. Almost neutral right here on total gain annualized. Flat, right? You got a 0.40. It went from red to lightly green. But 80%, 8108 plus 40, right? So there's where you get your 8147 with some rounding. Not a bad deal at all. Look at their, since February, the triple Qs got a negative 620. Don't like to see negative. So you get 40% yield, but you're having a drawdown on your NAV of 45%. Now switch over to the S&P 500. They came out in April. Great time to play the indexes, right? Mid-April, they took off. They've been running. So this is, it doesn't surprise me to see an annualized return of 75%. So they got a 237 on their gain, their actual gain, and then because, oh, I'm sorry, that's that weekly change, right? So their distro return has been 20.48. Yeah, I just jumped straight into oh, F minus C. Okay, so this is their full current back here. Yeah, they haven't gained a lot in the 2 months on this scenario. It's almost all coming from distribution. And I know a lot of you guys like their high distributions, and they are doing high distributions, high yield. And in this case, they had a positive here. So that's what you want. Anytime you have even a small positive number and a terrific payout, although, well, see, nobody else matches their 4-3, right? There's a couple of fives and a two, so you can't really compare. I have to do all the other funds on this exact time period that are doing S&P 500. All right, guys, so enough on that you got this data. Let's go take a look at what I've got in here for Roundhill for you guys. Sorry, nothing to do with Roundhill per se. This is still doing Granite, but what I want to show you is something I did over at Roundhill and Rex, where I'm comparing all these guys. So this plays right into the Nvidia fund. So if you look up here, it looks like Rex is doing the best because they got a 363 total return. Remember, I tell you, total return to me is everything in a yielding income fund because you always have NAV or loss. If you're just in a stock ETF, that's all you have. Are you ahead or are you behind in the underlying ETF? Well, when you have income, what's your yield? Because that's always positive. It's never negative. You can't get a negative number when you get paid positive cash. Yeah, but you can lose in the NAV, and you can lose a lot more than you can get paid. All right. So the problem with this is a 528. You got three other funds on 219 and one on 513. So what do I do now? I want to even the stakes. So I came down here and I said, let's look at three Nvidia income payers. Let's make everybody a 528 because that's the date of the newest one. So when I do that, who wins the scenario? Well, Roundhill does substantially. But this is a good neck and neck. Look at 169 for NVYY, and Yieldmax comes in at 171, but they're not even close. They're not even half the total return of Roundhill. And where does Roundhill get it? Well, they get it like they do on COI, COIW. They're winning with the leverage on the gain and the loss. They have a 300%. Look at just yield annualized. They're never going to be the highest payer. So we have a situation where they're paying 7.2% actual dividend amount of money since 528. Well, Granite's paying 17%. Yieldmax is paying 11. So there's a case, guys, that they're paying, okay? But what are they doing on the gain or loss? So Nvidia said, hey, I'll show you. I got a 70% yield. You out yielding me with 109, but I'm going to out annualize you on the gain. And they did. Close, right? Either one of these you picked, and you pick it. They're even. But with Roundhill, 300%. I mean, this thing came out at, now let me make sure, guys, something could be askew here. F9 minus C9. That's all good. F9. So that's 25%. Okay, but it's only 58 days. Yeah, that'll do it every 2466. It's all valid. So what's happening right here tells you the actual gain in 58 calendar days, guys. It's already counting over here as 25. Well, it's 25 everywhere now. But my evening. So almost 25%, almost 8%, and almost 12%. So you see the 2 to 1. So these numbers blow up. Okay, this is how the math is done. If anybody has any questions, this is the exact math to create your gain or loss. It's not simple math. It's a little more complicated math. Okay. On the dividend side, it's a simpler calculation. So the net result is, and that's what I wanted to get. So let's do one more, because remember that we had the Tesla funds. So let's just look at this series first. So we see Roundhill, we see Rex, we see Yieldmax, we see Granite, we see Curve, and we see the underlying. And we say everybody is losing, but who's losing the least? Well, Rex is, right? But guess what Rex is doing? They're the newest. They're 6.4. Everybody else, okay, is 219, because the Granite shares, that's their oldest fund. So I went out here and said, okay, I'm going to make everybody 6.4. I don't need Tesla in it. Right? It doesn't really matter. You guys want income funds. Who wins then? You go, Granite. Not only do they win substantially. But let me see and make sure there's no mistakes here. Where do they win on? Well, they win on the payout. They're a $9, right? They started this scenario at 1147. These guys started at 38. So when you pay 201, right, and your stock is more than 3 times higher, 3.5 times higher, you're going to have to pay $7 or $8. You can't keep up. So they got to, so again, Granite pays 125% dividend annualized to 64.46 and only 15. Now, what is Curve known for? Not dropping. And sure enough, look at their gain and loss annualized. It's the lowest by far. Still 52%, but you're 80, 70, 76, right? 71, 76, 81. But they're not paying enough. They pay 45 cents, they pay monthly. These weeklies have already grabbed an extra 2 or 3 payments in here. So Curve is a good fund. It's just not going to out yield the other guys. So your winner is TSYY. So that's all you guys have seen this. They don't have a race in this horse, right? They don't have a horse in this race. Good one, Bruce. All right. So that's what I got for you on Granite. I think they're doing good. Okay. What I'd like to see from Yieldboost is I'd really like to see them get some of these other funds out. Love to see their gold precious metals and roll that out. All right, guys. This is, again, these pay on the 29th. I believe the declaration was the 24th and X date was 25. Double check the website. But going from last week, they paid on the 22nd, so I'm sure they're going to pay on the 29th. All right, guys, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial analyst. This is not financial advice, and I do not have a horse in the race. All right, just wanted you to know I could say that correctly. All right, guys, bye. Have a great Friday ahead. Bye for now.